Can I meet her at the hospital in a little bit? Because I don't want to ruin this. I need to be there. I'm the main event. So I even sacrificed seeing the possible birth of my child, which, yes, it turned out to be a false alarm. And it wasn't actual child labor. So I made the right decision. I made the right call at the end of the day. But I did make that sacrifice in knowing that that may be happening right now so I could put on this main event, so I could be there for this show. And that's something I take pride in, and something that I show all these new guys that tell me, well, I got this going on today. I got this going on today. Bro, I was having a child being born, my first ever, and I was putting it on hold so I could finish what I was doing.
That's
But that's
wild.
because
But it shows you, you know what it shows me though, champ? It shows me the dedication. It shows me the
that
passion. It shows me the blood, sweat, and tears you had in this sport. You know, I don't mean to go back to, but it just shows me you are a true locker room leader. You're a leader that I would want to learn from. I'd want to sit under your learning tree. I would want to pick your brain because you've went through these things and you've shown dedication to building this sport. So for anybody that wouldn't really want you involved or wanting you to do those things, it just to me doesn't make any sense. And I just think it shows, again, intellectual dishonesty, you know, because again, just on that story alone, again, I know we've only known each other for a short amount of time, but just hearing that tells me the kind of man that you are. Not even the wrestler. Listen, I have no doubt you've done a lot. I know you've done a lot in this sport. We're watching some of it here. You've obviously been a true giant, a legend. No question about that. But just as a man, the dedication that you have for people, that shows to me that you should absolutely not only be a leader in ESW, but you're a leader in the backyard of the underground. I'll dare say in all of wrestling, because there's very few people that would just show that. And I don't understand it, you know, but just off that story alone, I don't understand it.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I didn't understand it. I would ask these guys, hey, watch this match of mine because I want to show you how crazy you can get, but be safe and not be stupid. I want to show you how dedicated you need to be to really say something about yourself. I want to show you what it takes to be a top dog in here because I'm telling you the sacrifices you need to make. I'm showing you the sacrifices you need to make on camera. There was a match where I had with the Halloween was me versus Wicked J. I almost died in that match on camera. He had me twisted up in the ropes and he did a light tube across my chest, which I was going through a phase of let's do this. It looks gnarly.
I just
And
had Brian White on 2 days ago where he had the match that everybody talks about in GBYWN history. It was almost the same, not the same instance, but like he went through like almost like the wall and it was like he came back on the ground. I'm not trying
yeah,
that again. So, you know, it happens.
and yeah, and he took a light bulb to me. My arm was pinched in the rope, so it popped like a balloon once the glass hit it, and I had a huge bowl of blood in my arm. I severed a tendon. There was all kinds of stuff going on, but I finished the match first off, and the whole time I was in the front yard waiting for my ride to take me to the hospital. I wasn't crying about the problem. I was legit upset, but I wasn't crying about the issue. I wasn't scared I was going to die. What I was worried about was that I messed up the match with Jay because we had to cancel a lot of stuff. I was worried that I destroyed the main event. I wasn't able to finish to do everything we had planned it. We finished it, yeah, but did it look like shit to me? I didn't know. So that's what I was worried about. And something else that I got praised for a lot, but something else that also, as at the same time I'm getting praised for it, it also got overlooked by a lot of these new cats. And but it is something that I use, like something like that. Bro, the doctor told me if Aztec hadn't rushed over and put that belt tourniquet on my arm and I hadn't gone to the hospital sooner, I would have bled out and died in the ring. I severed an artery and I would have been dead right there. And it was me versus Wicked J, which I wouldn't have felt any better of a way to go out than with Jay. It's the good guy versus the bad guy, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I have a family, and now what's happening now? But I was worried about the main event, and that's real stuff, man. I'm a showman, and I really take serious pride in that, and I took serious pride in everything I did in ESW from my debut to, man, I still regret messing up my first promo, and I ended up being the king of promos in the damn show, king on the mic. But I did mess up my first promo choking, but I worried about that. To this day, I still worry about that. Every mess up that I've made, I still worry about them. But it all comes back to that same thing where I almost died, but I was just worried about not doing the twist of fate off the top turnbuckle through the table that we had planned for the ending, and we didn't get that done. I
But
was
I'm so
very
glad
upset.
that you said those things. As we're here, of course, with Osiris, the ESW Shockwave Interstate Champion. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling matters. Here, we'll get to more people. And if you are here for the first time, hit that sub button for us at Sportswire Radio 65.7. If I get to 1,000 subscribers, I get a tattoo. So I'm getting closer. Getting close. I'm very close. I'm almost there. It's fun. But, I'm so glad you said those things because we've had people on this platform who, have been doing things in the ring and they probably shouldn't be in the ring. They're saying they're going to get help. And I don't know. I've kind of thrown my hands up at this point. There have been certain people that have tried to say it in a more, I guess, bullying like tone, as some declare. I don't necessarily agree with that. There are other people that have been trying to give them, friendlier advice. It seems like they obviously want to go out there, and some of the stuff they've done is honestly, it's not very good. But I'm so glad you gave that advice and telling people that, like, listen, be safe because you're an example. Thank God you're alive. Thank God you're here. Thank God your beautiful family can see you. But this sport, accidents happen and we see it all the time. I have a lot of comments. I want to get to people because so many people so much want to say hello to you. Also, respect for not only being a man of your word, not airing behind the scenes business, and also putting over fellow wrestlers. I agree with you. You are truly a leader. You are truly a locker room leader. And I think everybody in this sport can look upon to you, not just in the backyard, but even in the independents and the pros. Yes, this is live. Hello, young Rolo. Osiris is the reason why I started loving wrestling more. He showed me more stuff in the ring and pushed me to do and learn stuff I didn't know I could do. Thank you for everything. That's why you should still be a locker room leader. And that's why you should be a mentor.
Thank you,
and that's
Rolo.
why you should be an apprentice. And that's why it's absolutely an abomination. That's why it's absolutely a disgrace to hear what you've gone through, because I would think guys like you there should be a statue built for you in ESW Shockwave. No, I'm serious. Listen, I'm the kind of guy, if I say something, I'll tell it to you on and off I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So trust me, I'm used to basically people telling you how it is. And I'm going to tell it to you because, again, I don't know nobody nothing. If it was me, the owner of ESW Shockwave, or involved in that company, I would have made sure Osiris has a statue that basically shows greatness is the greatest, whatever you want to call it. Put other nicknames in there, King Osiris, whatever it is. Have a statue and have you in that company until you're 95 years old doing whatever else. But that's what I would say. But that's their loss. My buddy CJ Black, the 7-star superstar, just wants to say hi. He'll come back tomorrow morning. You should be a promoter, but we'll get back to that in a little while. Very scary for sure. And also, hello to my guest earlier today, Mr. Hardcore. He is the general manager for Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling. He was the general manager for GWC Intensity. Of course, Copper Dragon, the Global Backyard Wrestling Network. Everybody knows him. And he had a match there. Yeah, he's a very crazy man. 26,000 views, him and Charmander. We were watching that match. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for everything you have done for this sport. Yes, we definitely thank you. I want to give you something in a second. Also here, Hillbilly Tilly, definition of a true backyard wrestler. I always say it, true yarders do it for the love of this sport. True yarders do it for their blood, sweat, and tears. This is the example of it. And certainly I'm going to make sure, as long as I have a pulse, and I hope to have a pulse for a very long time, that I'm going to make sure you get on in every way I possibly can. Let me, though, get to somebody that is the reason why I'm speaking with you right now. And that is none other than the man that actually worked alongside you in ESW Shockwave, none other than the now outsider, Jack Delta himself, and stopping by to say, I'm so glad I got to meet this man. Truly a different breed. Much respect if this truly is it. You sacrificed so much for so many years. You'll always be remembered. When you hear that from a Jack Delta, what does that mean to you?
That's what matters, because this is somebody that I gave some tips to. So not to throw him under the bus or make him look bad or anything. He's a great guy and a great talent. He's going all over the world doing all kinds of cool shit that I wish I could have done. But he did jump into the ESW ring, and when I saw him running those ropes, something basic like that, yeah, you're great, but let me make you a little bit better. And I saw him running the ropes. He looked like a Jack. You probably remember this, Mr. Delta. I told you looked like an NPC on Grand Theft Auto running away from gunfire. So I jumped in, gave you examples, and helped you with your rope running, and you looked great right after. And everyone said so. And I was like, yeah, because I should be a damn trainer. But nobody ever looked into that. We just said, oh, yeah, for sure you will be. And I don't need to earn it. I'm showing it. But to counter that, so if I could go, go ahead. I'll get back into the training thing.
No. Keep going. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. I can put the match.
Okay, so one thing I always wanted to do with ESW was train people. As I told them, I was really good at it at TLW. I got a lot of compliments on my training style when I was training TLW guys from a lot of indie wrestlers that are local to San Antonio, and it was just something I felt great about, because then these guys look back and they say, "Man, Osiris taught me this. Osiris taught me that." Someone like Young Rolo does, and when I see guys like Jack Delta do even just the little things wrong, it's all the little things that count. So I'm gonna jump in there, even if you do everything else great. Let me help you with this part, so that way you look just a little bit greater. And that's what I would do. And then we had a party night. I think it was for the Royal Rumble or some WWE pay-per-view where Jack Delta was there, and he got to pick my brain a little bit, talk to me about stuff, and I gave him some advice and stuff like that. And this is somebody that you're talking to, and actually you could tell is taking in your information and appreciating it and going to apply it. However, when it's in ESW and I'm saying, "Hey guys, I want to be your trainer. Let me be your trainer. Let me help you guys train people so you don't have to do so much." These guys do a lot. As much shit as I could say, Austin G goes out there and sets that fucking ring up. He could do that shit by himself. Excuse my language there, but
you are Osiris. You can say whatever you
Osiris, Austin G goes out there and sets that shit up by himself if he needs to. If not, he's always the first one on scene. He's setting it up, and he does a great job at it. But I always said these guys aren't trained. Alex G was never trained. Austin G was never trained. However, they have proven time and time again that they do have a knowledge that can show people how to get over with a crowd. I've seen it myself. So I've always said those two guys, maybe they had that natural gift, but not everybody's going to have that natural gift. And these guys and ESW's taking in guys like, just random guys. I don't know. You could just find anybody off the street. "Hey man, you're the next ESW guy." And they come in there and it's always the guys that suck the most that are like, "I want to be Goldberg," or "I want to be Batista." And then they're the worst things you've ever seen in your life. And you're like, "Oh, you're right on the Goldberg line. Keep it going." You know what I mean? But yeah, so it was just always like, bro, if you don't want me to teach basics, I can clean it up a little bit at least. Let me do drills with these guys. They'll be better with their cardio. Let me do what I know, the little things that clean these things up. Like when you're getting into a headlock. We're over here, we're using American style wrestling. We're not doing lucha. Let's not do our left leg. We need to do our right leg. I'm trying to show them how to do everything with their right leg, but they're not worried about the right leg. They're just worried as if it looks good on camera, which I understand, but there are those things, those little things that clean it up, that make it look pristine. And those are the things that, because I was trained, I knew how to do and wanted to bestow upon them to help them out. It's never anything malicious, never anything where I was just a narcissist wanting to say I knew how to do it better. No, I can accept where.
That sounds like that I would want to learn from guys like yourself. And I think that that's why it's so important, not just in ESW Shockwave, but almost here in the yard and the underground, that we have guys like you that people can learn from and be under that learning tree. And I think that that's why it's important to have you here. Yes, I know people, they want to see you. They want to tell you all the great moments. But I think, what you're telling people really is important revelations, because I'm not a wrestler. I can't give that type of knowledge that you have. And I think that Jack has gotten the opportunity to learn from it. And obviously Jack has done a lot in this sport. And in many ways, Jack, I know, will be a guy that will carry a lot of the things that you've done, and he'll pass it on to others, and he'll do whatever that he can, I think, to help people. He's doing that right now currently in ROVW. But I think that's why, to me, we need guys like you. And to me, it's unfathomable, some of the things you said a little while ago. And I just, again, to me, what you have been saying, that's what we need. Every company needs a guy like you. Every company needs a guy like you.
And that pedestal you're putting me on right now, I'm telling you, I felt like I wanted to be there. I wanted to earn that.
Well, I'm going to promise you on this platform, you're going to be on that pedestal, because I can guarantee you every day I use this platform, I say it's the Church of All Wrestling Matters. I realize that the reason that my platform has become successful is because of backyard and underground wrestling. I know that my job every day is to go out there. Yes, I'm a wrestling fan. Yes, I love what you guys do. Absolutely. I enjoy it. This is my life. I watch 24/7 backyard underground wrestling when my time allots. But my job is to make sure I go out and give a voice to guys like you, guys like Jack Delta, guys like anybody that's here, Young Roller, whether it's obviously Mr. Hardcore that was here earlier, Atomic Titan, Shane Davidson, Alan Michaels, CJ Black, Hillbilly 2, whoever it might be that's here right now. And in general, That's my job. My job is to be your eyes and ears. I take the temperature, and that's what I'm here to do. And I know what my base is. I know why I'm being supported. I know why I'm successful. And I can promise you, again, you can take it for whatever the way you want. You're obviously a very important man. You're a busy man, successful family man. You're successful in everything you've done in this sport. But I will make sure you be put on a pedestal and on this platform. And I'll make sure you be put on a pedestal almost 24/7 that I get the chance to do so, because it is guys like you that have given so many others that opportunity, and you laid the foundations basically for backyard wrestling. We're watching a match right now as living proof.
It's insane. I'm watching it.
309,000 views. Let me repeat, 309,000 views. The money that you have made, ESW, I am sure that they should certainly cut you a royalty check off that. If it was me,
wouldn't that be something?
Yep. What's that?
I said, wouldn't that be something? To get a royalty.
If it was me, I would do that. But then again, my finances are different than most. I can afford to do that. But the point is that 309,000 people. There are promotions, if they get 1,000 views on the show, it's like, oh my goodness, you got 309,000 people. That means that people are going to be watching this match 50, 60, 70 years from now. In fact, I'm even going to say it to you, Mr. Osiris. You can take it for whatever the way you want. This match in particular has probably gotten more views than, let's say, AEW stuff, Impact Wrestling stuff.
Oh, it does for sure.
Stuff, so that shows you the magnitude of what you've done. You're a damn legend.
Absolutely, and I appreciate those words, man. Because looking back, so something that let me give you another story here. Something that what you just said resonates with me because of so when I came back in 2020, comes back to Shockwave. And let me remind everybody, I was actually in the first season of Shockwave. I was the very first main event of Shockwave. I was the very first main event of the prototype of Shockwave, me versus Wicked J, which is one of my favorite matches and my favorite follow-up promos, I might add. Stuff I'm very proud of. So when I got off track there, but I did. I started thinking about those shows. Those shows are epic. But when I left, and then I come back in 2020, I'm hearing in the chat, we had the Facebook group chat and all that good stuff. I'm hearing these guys like Alex, who is the owner of everything that's ever happened with ESW, Austin G, guys like these guys, these key components of ESW, you can't have it without Austin G or Alex G. These guys are saying what you did in the past doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to these people. And I'm like, nah, bro, because I've destroyed my body. That shit matters more than anything I'm about to do for you on Shockwave. I'll tell you right now, if you're going to see me have a great match, cool. What has he done before that? Go back and look, because it does matter. It does matter. Don't tell me it doesn't matter, especially when the stuff that we're seeing right now, old school ESW, we had an opportunity to perform for the band Portugal The Man. That's a legitimate badass fucking band that they were doing their song Modern Jesus. Go look up the music video on YouTube, official music video, Modern Jesus.
Mr. Hardcore earlier today, and he was a part of a video also down in Atlanta, got 480,000 views, and it's so funny you said
this one's at 11 million right now.
Well, there you go. That's why you're a legend. That's why you literally are a legend. Sir.
It's nothing to downplay him. I'm just adding to that.
It does, to me, when you get to like that number you had and he had, it's like, yeah, okay, I'll just take 1/10 of it. So just me.
Yeah, and I was real proud of it because I'm bleeding. I'm halfway covered in blood, and I'm like close up on the camera, as close as I am right now. And it's 11 million views. If you go look at it right now, it's probably actually over 11 million by now. And it's Portugal The Man.
Royalty check for that too. You should definitely get some of the residuals there. You should certainly
something. What I wanted though, other than payment, what I would take before any payment was, don't tell me my shit back then did not matter. Don't say that. Don't say that shit, because I put my life into everything back then to make
this match right now, which so many people around the world have. And there's no question you have put your body out there. You have done everything you can for this sport. And again, 309. I know a lot of people want to say, I'm going to get to comments, but 309,000 people. Listen, You know, AEW, MLW, Impact, they don't get those kind of views. And you did it. I mean, think about this for a second.
I
You have got
agree.
more views than the mainstream companies. Like, for example, AEW. AEW has Tony Khan's billions of dollars. They're on TNT, TBS. They have Warner Brothers Discovery. They have all that power, all that force behind them. And they don't get those kind of views. Impact Wrestling has this relationship with WWE right now. They don't get that kind of views.
And
Yet you did
that
it.
reunion, that reunion event we did actually. Sorry to interrupt you. The reunion event actually had at the time what they get with their live streams with TNA. We actually had more than they had in their last pay per view before that event. That they had live streaming. We had more people. We had 3,000 people online streaming it live. The reunion event. It was an amazing thing.
Oh my! Well, that tells you the power of, you know, people and such. And let me get to some comments here, and obviously a lot of people want to say hello. So let me
I
try.
love the
I still want to
comments.
give.
Say hello. I love the comments, guys.
I know. I still want to give you something. I actually still have something that I'd like to give you. Also, Jack Delta wanted to say he's laughing. That is true. A 20x20 is no joke. Trying to run for the first time. I actually it's the second time I've heard
It's
of
a big ring.
20 ring. Yeah, I heard that on Wednesday's show. We have one of the wrestlers that came on. He owns a company in Maryland, and they bought a 20x20, no, 19x20 ring, I think, or something like that. But yep. Always tell everyone who to ask.
Go back to the ring later.
I was a TLW student. That's what he wanted to say. There you go.
Yes, sir. One of my faves.
I want to say hello. Actually, he's going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to break his character here. I'd like to say hello to my very good buddy, Mr. Luke Leyland. Why is he important? Because right now he's watching this at 4 o'clock in the morning in the UK. He's actually also the man that is the only person ever outside of Africa to have competed in Dambe, which is almost kind of like the African version of UFC. He was also a wrestler. Cool. He was trained by Dean Allmark, who only, by the way, is probably the greatest British independent wrestler of all time. Wrestled in TNA Impact Wrestling, probably my biggest supporter to date. He is a damn legend in his own right, Mr. Luke Leyland, and he is a big fan of yours and a big fan of Jack Delta's. And
I'm honored.
Yeah, he's a legend. Luke Leyland, he's really a man that I wish a lot of people would certainly look up to, which I definitely do, figuratively and literally. It's unfortunately just how I run in real life. So if you ever see me running in real life, I look like I'm in a video game. And I think the new haircut looks like he's in a video game. And I'm going to save that for Friday's show. And, bro, how many people we met who came to ESW who wanted to be Brock and Goldberg but didn't want to put the time in to work? Osiris is spitting facts. Yeah, he's absolutely spitting facts. I mean, that's pretty much – he knows. The man definitely knows his stuff. A royalty check would be nice. Yeah, it would be. It definitely
would be nice.
Man. Sport, yeah, and more views. No, seriously, AEW only drew like 500,000. I mean, that's it. 500,000 views. Again, they got TNT, they got millions, they got all the social media, all the power of all mass media, and still, guys,
we're right there with them.
More views than them. Yeah, and I agree with Luke, and Luke knows because he's gotten like a million on his own right in Dambe over there in the African Warriors Fighting Championship. He got 1 million views. He knows the deal. Sportswire is the home of the underground and backyard wrestling. I don't know if I'm the man. I'm just lucky. God has obviously put me in the right place and put me with people like yourself and Osiris. 3,000 plus views for the reunion live. That speaks volumes. No question. I agree with Hillbilly Tilly. Incredible body of work that every bit matters. And I promise you on this platform, it's going to always matter. I am for real. You should start your own promotion. It would be successful. I'll watch. I will get to that in the last 20 or 30 minutes. And we need to revamp a backyard wrestling game. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
I want to say hello to one of my boys from the Promo Wrestling Federation, which I own. We're live on right now, which is the Wicked One Judas. Osiris, you are my favorite. I love the demon. I agree. And that's why I'm very happy to see Mr. Juice. But I got to give you something because I made this, and I know people still want to talk to you. A lot of people still want to get in comments. I got to run through a few other things with you. I think it's time to give this to you because I think it's very important you have it. And I want to officially declare you.
There we go. Hell yes.
The heart and soul of ESW Shockwave for all that you have done in the 15 years, whether it was what we just watched, whether it's through the wars with Wicked J, whether it's MOD recently, whatever you've done throughout these years, I want to make it known that on this platform, you are the heart and soul of ESW Shockwave. I will give you this physical copy when we are off the air. I want to thank you.
Let's do that.
That you have done.
I'll hang it up.
Oh, I want you to, and I want to ask you something else because I have this little thing that I think I would love to have you a part of if you ever had the time. We have this thing called the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And what this is basically it honors people, not just in backyard and underground wrestling, but also through all of the 5.5 years I've been doing this. Whether I have a background in college sports, I covered college athletics for a time. I used to cover college basketball. I've done professional sports. I've done a lot of different things in my career. And we have this Hall of Fame, and Jack Delta's in it, Hillbilly Tilly's in it, a whole list of other great people are in it. And I think that one day, I know you're a busy man, you're a family man, you've obviously.
I'd be honored. I'll make the time. I'd be honored.
Well, I would love to put you in the Hall of Fame, maybe in the month of July, and I'll make sure anytime you want to do it, I'll make sure we have a ceremony. I'll give you a speech, and I'll certainly make sure it'll be one to remember. I'll promise you this. You may not be getting on a pedestal in other places like the one you just came out of, but on this platform, I can assure you, as the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, and the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation, the Reverend Tom Bryce, I will make sure you will be on a pedestal, and it'll be the biggest pedestal anybody will ever put you on. You mark my words, my friend.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'd love to.
Well, we'll make that happen. I promise you on a different date here for sure in the month of July. And people are very happy about that. I know how to honor my people. Let me ask you, though, this question. We'll certainly come back to a few other things in the past. And I know people want to hear what's ahead in the future in the remaining time. But do you feel like, in a way, you were very successful in that Rumble? You win back the interstate title. In a way, do you feel like right now you're in the best of your career? Like right now this season, you've done a lot of great things. Like you still have a lot to offer. Some people could say conversely, you're at the top of your game right now. And kind of, some people in sports have this problem where they figure out, okay, I'm wrestling or I'm playing baseball, football, whatever it is. Tom Brady retires a couple years ago, and he could have probably retired the year earlier or 2 years prior when he won the Super Bowl. Michael Jordan famously retired a couple times, and he wasn't on top. Peyton Manning kind of struggled, even though he won a Super Bowl, it wasn't great. We're seeing this in wrestling. Guys kind of struggle with this Sting. Looks like he kind of got it right. Ric Flair has struggled with this. Hulk Hogan has struggled with this. I mean, we see Stone Cold Steve Austin's kind of figured it out. Shawn Michaels is obviously retired, not retired. But do you feel like, in a way, maybe you're at the top of your game and this is the best it's going to be, and maybe this is maybe for the better in a way? What do you think on that?
So what I think personally, and honestly, brutally honest, I think my best times were already past, and they're on video, and you can go look them up. Look them up all you want. So when I'm in this last season, I'm already planning on retiring. So let's get into some of that future stuff we were supposed to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
I was already supposed to retire. For season 8 was supposed to be my last one. I was going to continue. So what was going to happen? I was planned to have a triple threat match for the Great Divide. There was going to be Alex G versus MOD versus Osiris for the finale of season 8. And I'm very I'm very apologetic, very sorry that I wasn't able to give you guys that match, because I think it would have been great. We would have had a great time. And it would have been nostalgic for everybody that's been watching for so long. And I appreciate, by the way, the love and support for all the years. But unfortunately, with everything happening, it's just not something I can do. I can't deliver. However, we were supposed to go on. And season 9, I was actually going to debut as the new sheriff in town on part of the platform. I was going to join the platform as her day-to-day operator, and I was going to take over the show. Finally, Osiris accomplishes his goal.
Yep.
Since 2009. Yeah, exactly. I was going to, because she got an attitude adjustment. So in order for her to not be in any danger, I was going to jump in and let me be your person, because I've had a history with the Garzas since 2009. Since my first show, I retired Alex G in the very first thing ever. So that was my thing for the next season. It was going to come down to I start abusing my power in season 10, and someone gets tired of it and says, hey, how about one more match? Boom. I lose. I'm retired. I'm gone season 10, because they needed a big name for season 10. And that was my plans going forward. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do that, of course. My last appearance is going to be the Extreme Rumble 10. And sorry to anybody that was set to see me lose the Interstate Championship to MOD, because that was coming up next. I actually was not supposed to be interstate champion in the Extreme Rumble 10. I didn't hear that MOD was supposed to be champion. I didn't know that we were filming things in different spots. I was like, the last thing I did was beat Hollywood, so obviously I'm still champion. I wasn't there for 2 other episodes, so I missed some things. But nobody stopped me either. I came out in my entrance in the Rumble with my title. Nobody stopped me. Nobody said I had already lost it, because last thing I knew, I beat somebody for it. I'm champ. So I came out and we ran with it.
Though. I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, I know people can't digest this. That's bizarre. You know, I've heard a lot. I've covered things. I have a background in news, and I've had some weird things. I've obviously broken in news. I've worked at a radio station for 7 months, and I just came off that, so I've kind of heard different things. But this is bizarre that what was to happen to you and it didn't happen. And they let you come out. I mean, this is just. I mean, for the
nobody
audience,
stopped it.
this is just
nobody stopped
bizarre.
it, and I even made sure to ask before I came out. I'm holding this, right? And they were like, well, that's the last thing you did, right? You beat Hollywood. Yeah, cool. I'm going out with the belt. But later on, learning that MOD was supposed to cut a promo with the title because he was champion. And I was like, oh, but I came out with it. And he was like, holy shit.
Promo, but you're the champion. That just doesn't make sense to me. What was...
And that's because the way he's filming things, people don't show up. So he's filming things out of place. We're filming things out of storyline order, so he can edit it into storyline order later on. So unfortunately,
if you don't mind me saying, you were a legend. I love the fact that you're here. You were an honest guy, and I know that you can say nothing on this, but I have to be honest. I love what you guys have done in ESW. I have all the respect in the world for everything you've done, but I watched this product. I watched it. Austin came in here. He wanted to be here, and it was great. I appreciate the fact he wanted to be here. We did an interview. Again, you don't have to say anything on it, but I watched the season, a lot of it, and to me, I don't think it's ESW's best work. I don't go, oh my God, this is like, I got to stop my stuff. ESW is so great. I don't, you can say nothing on this by all means. I'll take it for you. But I watch a lot of wrestling out there from a lot of places. And I got to be honest, ESW, a lot of what I was watching, I mean, to be honest,
step down.
It was like, if you want to be really straight, very middle of the road. It was like, yes, it was better than some companies, sure, but it wasn't the best thing. I mean, to me, the editing, the video was, it was okay, but even the overall flow, like a lot of this storyline thing here was like, I don't know. To me, I just think that, again, I don't know if you would have made a difference. You were there. It's not your company, but I mean, I think you were certainly an important part to the company. I enjoyed what you did in the ring. I obviously talked about the match you had with Austin at the beginning of the season. We talked about you in the Rumble, winning it here right now, but I got to be honest. I don't, some of the stuff you're telling me, yeah, I hear this through the grapevine, other places, guys don't show up. There's an issue with that, but I don't think this was the best ESW was put out there. And that's why I'm going to be honest with you. Not. I think TBW, Tennessee Backyard Wrestling, Atomic Titan may strangle me for saying this. I think TBW is right nipping at ESW's heels, and for reasons like this, because I look at the TBW product visually, it's light years ahead of ESW right now. They've got a linear flow, they've got a coordination with their product. When the schedule comes out, they're doing a great job building, guys. They're doing a great job building around people. They're giving you a reason to tune in. They do a great job with their social media game. I look at the ESW Shockwave social media game compared to these other feds, and it's very middle. I got to be honest with you. If you don't mind me saying this, now we're talking real time. I'm going to go out there and do the work because this is Sportzwire. This is my platform. I think a lot of times I try to lead the horse to the water for a lot of these companies, and I go out there and do more for them in terms of putting the video out there, announcing them, doing the interview, watching the coverage, promoting them, than some of these companies. And I got to be honest, with all due respect to ESW Shockwave, with all due respect to a lot of the things that have gone out there, I don't think this is the be-all, end-all anyway. It used to be, sure. What I just saw from 2009, years ago, when Wicked J was alive, God rest his soul, no question about it. But I don't think this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I think it's good. I think it's better than some companies here, but I think I think truly they're living off the name. I think they're living off the name.
I think you are 100% accurate. Living off the name, which is what my biggest argument was. Like I touched on earlier, the past does matter. Sorry, but these guys are crying about me saying stuff like that when we're only getting maybe let's say the top video I think I saw recently was 10,000.
I was
We
gonna
used
say
to
I
get,
think there was one with 10. What did you get? You're averaging like 5 to 6. You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
average like 10 times that number. 10 times that
Absolutely.
number.
And that was my big thing. And I would tell them, look, this is what we used to do. I'm here to help you guys. Alex called me in 2020 after we had our big fallout. And it was due to the same reason as I'm retiring now. And that was the first time when I said, if it happens again, I'm out. Now that time I was telling the guy, he called me and tells me, hey man, you think you come help out? And maybe you could get back into it. You look like you can go once you come out and come help us out and get some views because you're somebody they talk about. You're somebody they still ask about. You're somebody they still want to see. And I feel like you can get us some views because we're not pushing the numbers we used to. So don't use the word used to or the phrase used to when we're saying the past doesn't matter. Because to me, the past matters. Absolutely. You're calling an OG. That means the past matters because the past
came back. I mean, we saw Deftone in the middle of the season. I mean, I feel like to me, again, that's what people want to see. And again, it goes back. You go to your base. You go what works. You go what you know is there. And I just think to me that the product, and again, you can say nothing on it. You can say something. You can disagree. But I don't think it's be-all, end-all anymore. Even I think the last show, what was the live total? 100 people live? TBW had 100 people live for their last show. Their most recent regular show had 50-something people live. I mean, listen, if we're going to go based on facts, I mean, I just think that they're living off the name. It's no like, oh, my God. Like, to be honest with you, you can say nothing like this storyline with the platform. That's not believable. The ESW from years ago that was literally breaking
the
bodies,
network stuff, the reunion stuff.
Yeah, this is not what it was. This is like, to me, goofy, like really copying like WWE. I mean, people knock TBW, but TBW to me has got originality. This was like, I watched this stuff. He's running around. Listen, you can say nothing, but Austin G, I watched one of his matches and he ran outside the ring for 5 minutes before he wrestled a 6-minute match, a garbage match. You mean to tell me that this is what, oh my God, why I should tune into ESW? Right. I watch companies like Jack Deltas and ROEW. They just had on one of the best matches I've seen in the Yard and the Underground. I watch guys in IMF. I watch guys, listen, even for all I say about WCE, I think they've got better creativity. I mean, there's a whole list of companies. Hellbilly Tilly's Alliance Wrestling League. They've blended pros, undergrounders, and yarders. There's a whole NEW, Riot in the Ring. There's so many companies to me that have surpassed what ESW is doing. And to me, I would think guys like you, guys like Deftone, other people in there, let's use them. Let's go and be back on top, because right now, to me, it's like the old dog is failing. The old dog, to me, it's just, I don't know.
I 100% agree. And it's the creativity, I think, for me, because I would tell him there was moments, for instance, me and Wicked J, Hardcore Homecoming 2 for my first ESW championship win. When I beat Jay for the ESW title, I got to spear him through the entire set. Like, that is something we want to watch that again. So I'd always try to find those moments. But now we have too many, the set's too important. We don't have a backup thing. We can't tear this up. We can't do that. But those kind of crazy moments you might have to invest in just so you can have those crazy moments again in your new thing. Yeah, you've destroyed, you canceled out your old channel and you moved on to a new channel because you don't want it linked with backyard wrestling. I get that. I respect it. But you're not doing
in the backyard, though. I mean, people don't see, oh, this is a pro wrestling company. It makes
no
sense.
They are in a yard.
And you had 32,000 plus subscribers. Why would you go away from that? It makes no sense. Absolutely zero sense.
Continue to capitalize on what you can, which is why I would still do the hardcore stuff. And I would compete with Dr. Yes on a personal level because he was disrespectful and had a shitty ass mindset when you're thinking about a new guy getting into the business. But I would also compete with him on a professional level, and we got to keep this shit going because that's what people want to see. They want to see some crazy stuff, but also good storytelling, which is what I feel like I capitalized on. Before I wanted to be a wrestler, I wanted to be an actor. And I got into wrestling, yes, but before that, it was all about acting. And the story that you're delivering can make that entire match, even if something looks like shit in that match, man. But it's whatever you're telling for that story, and that's what would make it for me. I wouldn't care about winning or losing. That's not important. What matters is the story you're telling. If it's something that's like, oh man, he almost got it, god damn it, or if it's just like, yes, he finally got it, whatever it may be, that story that you're looking for, that reaction at the end of it. But I feel like that all went away and it just became, well, they just want to see Austin. They just want to see him. Doesn't matter what happens. They just want to see Austin. They just want to see
But
Alex.
it's almost like it's
And
Austin and everybody else, and like to me, that's what I look at. It's not. You guess you're getting views, but it's like you're not building anybody. There's no building of people. It
I
just
agree.
doesn't make any sense. And then Prodigy wins the title. Like it's like just to me, I don't look at like you're supposed to build people. You're supposed to
I
create,
agree.
and they're not really creating people. And I think that's the unfortunate part because again, I want to see everybody. I want you guys to get 1 million subscribers. I want you guys to get 100 million views, and and that's the way people feel, and that's how it's going to be from their point. But I have a lot of people that still want to say it, and I've only got so much time because you're a very busy man.
Well,
Osiris, the top one, Red Dead. Yep, we'll definitely do that soon. Yep.
let me say real quick. I will say in way of that. I guess maybe in their defense, really. So yes, build everybody, but the guys that are gonna really connect and really try are the guys that want it. The guys that come in, like I said earlier, come in and say, "I want to be Goldberg, I want to be Batista, or I'm unstoppable. I should be the best because I'm whatever."
Right.
Those guys don't really want it, and they're gonna get told to do what they will do, but they're not really gonna get it. They're not really because they just don't. They don't actually, literally, actually get it. They don't understand the business. They don't understand what they're doing. They're just going out there doing some wrestling moves because they want to beat somebody up, and that's cool and all. It's great. You can lay into me. We'll get stiff. Let's do that. That's fine with me. But what are we selling? What are we telling? What's the story that we're going on with here? And it's guys like me or guys like Jack Delta, guys like Blake Pierce, guys that want to actually be something there and be part of the history. And sometimes they don't get all the shine that they should, and that's because the mindset there is, well, they're not here. It's just me and Austin. It's just me and Austin. So Austin and him get to do everything or whatever. And they started giving some of that
storyline for this season. I watched the episodes before he came on, and again, I have all the respect in the world for what they've accomplished, you've accomplished, but it wasn't, to me, it was like, I don't know. It seemed like, you know what it reminded me of? Crash TV. Vince Russo used to write Crash TV, and it reminded me of like, it just didn't come across well thought of. It didn't come across like riveting.
it's rush.
I watch probably about 14, 15 backyard wrestling companies out there, and there's at least 7 of them that have maybe a tenth of the subscribers I watch, and they have more riveting television or more riveting YouTube stuff that I want to go out there and watch. And that's disappointing because this is a company that you built. You put your blood, sweat, and tears out there for. You went out there and put this company to be where it should be, that it gets more views, more subs than pro wrestling companies out there. And that's unfortunate, but I have a lot of people that do want to say hello, and I promised I would get to them. Also, Luke wants to congratulate you. He says, keep doing your thing, brother. And he's up at 4:30 in the morning. That shows you his dedication. Justin
Thank you, brother.
Parsley, another person from one of our Hall of Fame members who's here 3 times. Evening, fellas. How you doing? Atomic Titan thinks you should have beat Austin G at the start of the season. I think a lot of people would have liked to have seen that. And I think that would have been, for us would have been better, but we wouldn't have you here probably. You'd probably be the champion.
That match was awesome.
Well,
no,
okay,
you still would have. If you still would have. I'm telling you, if it was the circumstance was the same, then yes, you still would have been here.
And DG Colt, my friend, says, I love ESW too. I do love TBW. Yes, I love the boys, but I think the ESW product is not what it was. Yes, no, I'm not saying ESW sucks. I'm saying that the product is not what it was. There's a big difference. Right. I think there's a lot of great talent there. It's just not what it was. It should be that for the experience in the years that it has, it should be a better product. And we're watching, obviously, you and such, and let me ask you, though, what did Wicked J mean to you?
Wicked J to me. So Wicked J was, let's talk first.
He wouldn't allow me to ask that question to him. I'm telling you right now, he would not allow me to ask that. So I wanted to ask you. Well,
I don't have this huge ego that's going to have me limit you on anything. You can ask me whatever you need and I have an answer.
I think it was BS to basically not talk about the past. I think it was, to me, like there's people that...
And that goes along with what I was saying as far as they're the ones that talk about the past doesn't matter.
Well, that's why they in the court of public opinion on this platform, people love you. And, the results with him on this platform in the comments was probably 50-50 at best, whereas here, everybody loves you.
Yes. Well, that's... I don't know. He's living a character because of his ego that he has with it. And I love Austin G. Don't get me wrong. This is somebody that I consider.
He's got short man syndrome. That's his
Yes,
problem. Got short
there you
man
go.
syndrome. But
I agree with that.
What did Wicked J mean to you?
So as far as Wicked J was somebody that when I came in, he was the star of the show, and he remained the star of the show. Let's not say that, but he was the star of the show. But when I came in, I counterbalanced his stardom with a heel. I was the perfect heel for him. I was the only one that wasn't from their school. Nobody knew me, and I was able to come in there and make everybody hate me so immediately. And he was the bad guy. I was the good guy. He likes to be a clown. He loves Joker. Let's go with that. I was Joker though, and he was Batman. At the end of the day, it's funny because he portrayed the clown, but at the end of the day, I was the Joker. He was Batman. We were meant for each other. We were a good guy, the bad guy. That's why I used that nickname, the bad guy, because he was the good guy, and that was like one of the most ultimate rivalries ever. Plus, for me personally, ever also. But Jay was also a personal friend. He was the first guy that came over when I first got my very first ever apartment. When I found out that my girl was pregnant and I wanted to go get an apartment, he was the very first visitor that I had. He came over, we smoked out, we chilled, we had a good time. He was a very good friend. He came to my performance when I used to do music. When I was doing rap, he came to my very first performance live, and it meant the world that he got to be there for that. When we lost him, I feel like we lost a whole big chunk of ESW, and it just wasn't ever the same after that. But we still tried. And the fact, as far as when we first got the ring, it just once Shockwave came around, it became more of let's get this product out because I have a deadline. Then it became about let's think of something that people are watching. And Jay was always about what people were watching. That's what he was there for. He wasn't there because he loved wrestling. He didn't watch Monday Night Raw. He didn't watch Friday Night SmackDown, Thursday Night SmackDown. He watched ESW, if anything else. And if he watched something that was WWE, then that was because we asked him to. He didn't watch that stuff.
You know what? Musicians sometimes don't listen to music outside of their own because they have to go focus to be the best.
You're absolutely right.
And that's what he was. He was somebody that, obviously meant so much to the company like you. And it's what it was, and and obviously, we pray for him and his family every day, no matter what. And I'd like to say a few things real quick before I get to more comments.
Brother.
I would love to have Austin and Alex G back on, but it would be a different interview this time, and I would tell them those things, but I don't think they're coming back to the platform, DJ Cole. So, and I didn't hate on Jacob Prodigy winning. What I didn't like was kind of how the storyline was, like he was the missing, and he wasn't there.
Jacob Prodigy puts on great matches, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, listen, I'm not knocking him. Listen, I think Jacob Prodigy will do very well for them. He'll do well in representing that company as champion. That'll allow Austin to breathe a little bit away from the belt. I'm sure he'll go and feud with Vanderbilt. I'm sure the platform, no question. Listen, I'm from that standpoint, it'll allow him to go away from the title, and he'll come back to it for sure. But I think I'm allowed to have, I think, an honest assessment.
Absolutely.
And I think that's, to me, look, if Austin and Alex would like to be here, they're welcome to be here. But they wanted to be here the way that they wanted to be here that one time, and it really on this platform. It doesn't work that way. I think people like the realness, and DG knows this. DG agrees with me like 80% of the time. And listen, that's fine. And I appreciate all he does. He does a great job doing logo designs. He does a great job, going and making sure supporting guys. And I think that that's a fair point to what he has. And I appreciate his opinion, and everybody else's. And also, in all honesty, when we lost Jay, we lost the heart of ESW. You kind of touched upon that. I hate to make an Osiris interview about me, but I remember I left in 2016 because I was not having fun. We had lost Jay, Osiris had left, and I would be backstage before and after my match on the floor sitting down alone. I hate to hear that from people. That's always very unfortunate. We don't encourage that. With Jay and Osiris gone, it was not fun anymore. Fun fact.
And I will say, I will say, I'm sorry, Rolo. I will say they did not have the best treatment for people. If you weren't, and that's something I touched on when I quit, I think the second time when I was actually leaving due to an injury, and then just blatantly neglecting and not giving a shit that I was injured during a match. And I was telling them, I'm hurt, man. That was during the network era when I was in a tag team match, being Aztec versus Alex G and Dick Dominic. I separated my shoulder, actually, and he wanted to put me through a table right after I did that. And I was like, bro, it's hurting. I'm hurting. I can't do this. I'm hurt. Y'all got to finish this up. And he continued to beat the shit out of me. and didn't give a shit that I was talking. And I'm not even one of the ones that would get treated roughly. There was a lot of new guys. If when I left, I told everybody I didn't want to be measured in my greatness based off of what what my drinking tolerance was and who my drinking buddy was, which was Alex G. He was one of my best friends, somebody I hung out with all the time when I had time to go out and hang out with people. I was always with Alex, and I'd always be drinking, but I didn't want it to be based off of that. I wanted to be based off. I wanted my badassness in the show to be based off of actually being badass, and not how much I could drink with you the Saturday before we film something. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough.
And unfortunately, a lot of those guys didn't have that connection, and those guys that didn't, unfortunately, especially even when I was hanging out with them, we would all be making fun of them.
It sounds
and we
like,
just
unfortunately, what I hear a lot, we had a company on a few days ago in Maryland, and, you could see that there's been some talks or accusations about that. I don't know enough about it to confirm or deny, but unfortunately, there are cliques out there. There's a tribal kind of tribalism out there, and that sounds like some of it. And, obviously, I would certainly not prefer that out there, but again, each to its own. And again, we'll move on. Fun fact on Osiris's Rumble return, you can see someone's shoes by the stage. That was my shoes watching Osiris's return, and I remember seeing him and screaming, "Let's go!" That's certainly why
Rumble.
we have him here. Yep, the Rumble and Preach Rev. Everyone knows ESW has appreciation for them. Absolutely, what you guys have done, it speaks volumes. But it becomes a show like several others, seems to build certain people's career, which I pretty much touched upon. It should be about helping the new generation, helping other people have that opportunity. And I think that's what it comes down to. Want to say hello to the big bad Silver Wolf of the Dark Den podcast. How you doing there, my friend? Good to see you. We all should have done more stuff like these clips the past few years. Fans enjoyed it. I agree. When I booked anyone who came out and put their body into prime promotion, made sure that it resulted in a push or so on. He's involved in a company that's doing a lot of great things, that has transitioned, kind of going in that direction of independent pro wrestling. That's the Alliance Wrestling League in Alabama. So he knows that. I know I can ask you a million things. I'm going to bring you back next month to put you in the Hall of Fame, but I want to ask you a few other things. First, let me go and ask you one that I'm sure you'll be happy to answer. Is there one or two moments in your career that stand out most? I always ask this question to people, but if you had one or two moments in your career, what would they mean most to you?
I'll tell you right now, the reunion was my favorite moment in my career ever. As if you want to look at ring and yard days, was the reunion, because we had 100 and something people fill his yard in the back. We had 3,000 people streaming live, and it was the greatest story that me, him, Austin, MOD had ever told.
Were you nervous
ever.
when you knowing that many people are there? Like, were you nervous? Like, what was going through your mind like that?
I was, in the sense that, man, I better have a goddamn good performance and not look like shit. But at the same time, I was used to it, because not that many people, of course, but I've been performing. I've been performing since I was in pre-K. I was performing in high school, doing monologues by myself, center stage. That's my boy right here, Malik. But I was in high school. I was performing for people, a whole set of people, a whole class of folks coming in the cafeteria, filling up, and I'd say, man, these hyenas ain't gonna fucking listen to anything we have to say. And then I went out there and cut it, and they shut up and listened, and I got a standing ovation at the end of it, and I was so proud of it. And it's just that rush for performing for people your entire life. That's what you want. And when it came up, reunion got it. I was like, man, this is what I want. But at the same time, nerves hit, is that you better do it right, boy. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit of both. I would say you're
really
confident.
like a live. It's like a live show. I mean, to have like 3,000 live online, 170 people. I mean, that's like wild. That's like, I know we have like a lot of people here watching live, but it's not the number that you had. I mean, that's like, you're talking about magnitude. You're talking about people that, like, it's like, okay, this is prime time. This is like for real. This is like, okay, like this is, listen, 3,000 people watching live. I mean, let's be honest. AEW didn't get that. Impact got that for a period of time, got that, but very few people. Hi, how are you, boy? We see the future of Osiris. But obviously we'll finish the interview. But the point is, like, that's a lot of pressure, and there's no doubt that you certainly succeeded in that. Let me ask you, though, this question before I get to the big one. People want to know what the future is in terms of, do you have any regrets?
My only regret, and my biggest regret, is the first time I ever quit. which is the most controversial moment in ESW history. And I think it helped make me, really. So it's weird that I regret it, but it just, compared to all the other reasons, once they happen and you leave for other reasons, you find out, man, that first reason you left wasn't shit. What's wrong with you, man? You should have just stayed. I was going to have a title reign that lasted all the way to WrestleFest 2 that was going to result in OSG defeating me for the ESW championship. For the first time ever, we were going to get to wrestle one-on-one, and then it never happened after that. He probably felt insulted, and when I pitched having it later on, I think I felt insulted when he told me no. So I was just, you know what? Fuck that match. We're not doing that then if he wants to act like that. And it's just both of us being girls, really, at the end of the day. But, you know, and that robs the fans of stuff. But it happened for a reason. Maybe it would have been my most embarrassing match. You never know. I could have had a shit flop performance. You never know. But there's other moments like that where you think of something. If I could touch on for a second, one of the guys that I had the most historic issue and drama off camera with and on camera was PL3. And there's somebody that I just had so much shit with all the time. And it was mainly because Alex would gas him up, making him think that he was the greatest thing to ever grace anything. And I was just honest enough of a friend. It's not that I hated him, but I was honest enough of a friend to tell him, hey, bro, like you suck. You know what I mean? You're just not good. And there was things, he would start rapping. And I told him, bro, why are you trying to rap? You're still trying to figure out wrestling. Like, get that down first, and now you can figure out something else later on. But to counter that, I had one of my favorite all-time matches with PL3. At Hardcore Homecoming, I think it was 4 in the ring. It was me and PL3 one-on-one for the Anarchy Championship. I got the big long Undertaker entrance where they played the acoustic version of my song mixed with the regular version of my song. And I got to come out. If you haven't seen that one, I highly recommend it. And it's crazy. I guess it's a little cocky or egotistical of me. The reason I favorite it is because it was the very first time he didn't know what to do. And that's what I expected from PL3. He didn't know what to do. So I wrote the entire match. I wrote it from the entrances all the way to the end of the match. And when we did it, when I sent it to him, he was just like, yeah, let's just do all that. I told him, you edit it however you want, fix whatever you want, take out whatever you want, tell me what you're not doing. He just said, let's go with that. It sounds great. I said, yeah, I know it does because I wrote it. So we did it. And then we go and have the match, and it worked so well. If you watch that, listen to the reaction from the crowd. They're blowing up for me when I hit the ring, when I hit the stage. But once I hit the ring and open my mouth, they're completely booing me. It's complete night and day. It's amazing, and it showed that I still was one of the OGs, and I was able to control the crowd like I had a TV remote in my hand, turning them up or down, turning them off or not. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of my favorites, but it just, I don't know, it just goes to show you when you're working these guys that are held on a certain level because of their friendship, and it shows, that's when you shine and you show why I'm better than this person. And then for them to turn around still and to take that, what the first words I heard when I came back from that match? What? The first words when I got to the back. The first words I heard were, hey man, when did you get good? Like, hold up, bro. I've been good. What are you talking about? Are you talking to PL3?
Great. No, you're great. You've been great. That's what I would have said. I would have said everything, those things. But you know what? But that's, unfortunately, I always live by the motto, treat people the way you want to treat people. And unfortunately,
absolutely,
that mindset's not there. A lot of people, I want to ask you, I know you have a very limited time, but I still want to let people say, because so many people just want to say what you've meant to them. And Wicked One Judas from my Promo Wrestling Federation says if he ever had a dream match, it would be, you were on the Mount Rushmore. I think you were definitely on the Mount Rushmore of backyard underground wrestling history. No question about that. I agree with Wicked One Judas. And Mr. Titan wants to say there was a Fed in East Tennessee we worked with, and they were called EBW, and they were inspiration. And ESW was the one that they would talk about. You and Wicked J being their favorite wrestlers inspired them to be in the yard. I remember watching you guys in KBW in Alabama, which was Fuego del Sol's backyard federation, and Hillbilly Tilly would probably know them because he's from there as well. Also, what was your favorite in-person fan encounter?
So my favorite, man, in person. Hey, real quick, I was just actually thinking about it. Let me just say if I can do both. Non in person. I had a video chat with a fan, and I didn't really ever do that stuff. But it was when Wicked J passed, and Wicked J would always do video chats with fans, Q&As and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I'll do one in the spirit of Wicked J, and to honor him, I'll do one. And I did one. As a kid in Germany that told me these guys they would argue at their playground about who they're going to be, if they're going to be Osiris, Wicked J, Alex G, whatever. They would argue about who, and I was like, man, I used to argue on the playground if I'm going to be Shawn Michaels or Kurt Angle or whatever. That's awesome. That's amazing to hear. And that was my favorite non-in-person fan encounter. Now, my favorite fan encounter, which is pretty weird. I mean, I don't know. I have a lot of them. There's a kid that came up, brought me my bandana at one of the last live shows, and he just, the whole night, he could not find a Sharpie to save his life. And he made it his mission to find a Sharpie, because his name was actually his actual birth name of the fan. His name was Osiris with an A.
Oh my God.
And he loved the shit out of me, and he made it his mission to find a Sharpie so I could sign my bandana. And he was like, can I have your bandana? I love this bandana. It's purple. I was like, absolutely, you can. I'll sign it for you. And he just could not find a Sharpie. We ended up finding one. I got it signed for him. I hope he still has it. But that was my very favorite in-person fan encounter, I'd have to say.
Oh my goodness! Wow, what a small world! What a crazy stuff! But that just shows the power of social media and the power of just what you guys meant to so many people. Want to say hello to one of my buddies who's apparently going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame for a second time, Mr. Soldier GP. He is the IMF champion of the world, and he is also pretty successful in his own right, pretty beloved in his own company, the IMF in Palo, Iowa. This had a sold-out show last night, and he's saying hello. And thank you, Soldier. I'm going to see you next Monday. And Zilla says hello to your sons, and we say hello to them as well. KBW was the best Fed to ever come out of Alabama. I'd say top 5 promotions of all time. That confirms what Titan was saying. Yes, Tilly, those guys were legendary. They drew so many views as well back around the time of ESW. You know, let me ask you, though, this. We've spoke a lot about what happened and to why you're retiring. We've spoke about all the great stuff you've done. We've honored you, but so what's the future? What's to come of Osiris? Will we see you ever in any capacity in wrestling, or what is the future?
Let me answer that with a want. What I want, I would like to still be involved in wrestling. It will not be in ESW anymore, though. It will not, due to the unfortunate circumstances that I've discovered multiple times now. I have to value my family over anything. And when someone behind the scenes is reaching in and trying to destroy my family, I can't allow myself. That's just, you have to have some kind of dignity and some kind of self-respect at the end of the day at some point. And I said, if I found it out happening again, then I'm done. And I found it out again just a couple days ago. And that's it. Okay, you did that to yourself. That was your product. You wanted to do that. You're the champion. Yeah. Well, you ruined that. You did that to yourself. Nobody else is to blame but you. But what I would like to do moving forward, if I'm going to do anything, I would like to be a manager. I think that'd be fun, and I can help people in as far as developing their voice. Maybe managing someone that's a little shy out there talking. I want to help people loosen up, find their voice, find that fire in them that Osiris had, that attitude, and bring that to whatever show that they're in. I would love to help with that, and I'm always open to help with that. And there's actually a show, EBW here, which is the most generic name you could ever find ever.
I know, it's in New Jersey. They have like EBW Pro.
Everyone's got one.
It's like, I don't even know, like, and the guy, like, he owns both companies, but has like 18 different aliases. I've brought him on the platform, and it's like, I don't even know, because like, it's just strange. But yeah, EBW is like the thing, and XCW, the
most generic thing ever.
EBW in there. It's like, what else can you say other than EBW? Come on, let's go.
Right. What else we got, guys? No, but so yeah, but there's a competition show out here run by Caleb Rage, who's a former ESW guy, and Anthony Callie is also. They weren't anything big. They weren't anything good either. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. They weren't that great. Rage was better than Callie. I'll tell you that much. Callie was just bottom of the barrel stuff. I would never move forward with. But you know, it's not for everybody. But some people force it. but they are a competition show, and they have a whole roster of guys. They do their own show, whatever. But I talked to them before. I talked to them about joining last time before I went back to ESW, and I wanted to, but I hadn't confirmed anything. I told him I was still thinking about it, and he went and falsely advertised my name, saying that I had already agreed and I was confirmed for the show. And I was like, bro, I do not respect that at all. You just like now I got to explain it to 100 other people. Now you done pissed me off, so I'm good on all that. So I didn't go. But at the same time, I would like to be a manager and help out their talent with speaking. Because it's a known fact. I'm not I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but it's a known fact. Everyone tells me that they love my work on the mic. I am the best on the mic. I'm the king of the promo. I'm the whatever. I'm the CM Punk of ESW, whatever. They say all kinds of different things about how much they love my promo work, my mic work. And that's something, if y'all love it so much, let me bestow that on somebody else so we could pass that torch on.
Well, there is a lot of people right now are lighting up on that because there's a lot of companies, a lot of representatives, and one of them is Soldier, and he's saying, he's got his company that he owns, and they actually, like you, kind of go and being part of hundreds of people there. And he says, he knows one in IMF, and he kind of, he was serious about it. And, also he said you should start working out with Breakout. Was about to say that
Breakout. That was what they're called.
Yeah, Breakout.
That's them.
And me and Mr. Skies were talking about not bringing the girls around ESW. He does also want to welcome you to retirement.
Don't bring your women around him at all.
And that's why they're top 5. Can't argue with the views. I don't mean to ask you this question, but I'm going to do before closing thoughts. Obviously, there's, on this platform, we've really been big on open collaboration. We have this thing called Summer Bash taking place in less than 2 weeks from now. We have a lot of these companies that are here. They've all been working together, coming together. Let me ask you a twofold question on that. First of all, why don't you think ESW really ever played ball with other promotions? And secondly, what is your thinking on a lot of these companies putting together an event called Summer Bash, which is trying to be like the open, kind of like, think of it like a concert of backyard wrestling? What's your thoughts on some of that?
Oh, that's cool. I don't know about that. Let's go Summer Bash first. Hey, sign me up. Sign me up and tell you how much.
In Ohio, I think right now Soldier GP is one of the guys behind it. I'm sure that they will give you an invitation right after we're off the air. There's a lot of companies in it. I think 12 or 13 of them are in it, and it pretty much stretches everywhere. TBW is a part of it. One of their wrestlers is a part of it. It's a whole list of companies in the yard.
I'm 1,000% open to going anywhere I can if I'm able to at the time, and putting people over and making people look good. That's what I like to do. It's what I love to do, making you look like $1 million bucks.
Part of the summer, and obviously a lot of these companies here are a part of it, and obviously the one of the creators of it, Soldier GP, basically said whatever you want, and he'd love to talk to you. So that was I'm glad I brought that up.
Great to hear.
That'll be good to see, because I think a lot of people really love ESW on this platform. And having you here is, to me, it is a part of that. And listen,
I love ESW as well.
Me too. And you know what? And I want to focus on the positive. You know what? Because you answered my question. And I think that it's great to have you here. And I believe in olive branches. And by you being here, I know whatever happened there, let's move on from it. You've obviously retired. You've got a great career. But you know what? There's a lot of people right now here that, they would love to just pick your brain. They would love to have, even if it's on a video chat, even if you're on a show and they just had you on a video. I don't know what it is. I don't get in the business of promoting. I don't know that stuff. But there's a lot of guys here that, they would just love to hear from you. And to me, I want to celebrate you. I want to obviously celebrate all the things that you've done. So I'm going to let this be known that we're going to start off fresh. Whatever happened a few days ago, it happened. But today is a new day. And Paula Abdul famously sang, it was the #1 hit, so don't at me at it. It's a promise of a new day. It is a promise of a new day in the world of Osiris and in the world of backyard and underground wrestling, the power of this platform. So I can assure you that there will be a lot of people tonight that'll definitely want to talk with you. They'd be honored to have whatever advice you give. And I have no doubt you'll add whatever it might be, whether it's Summer Bash here, whatever it is. And also the next time you're here next month, we'll make the date after we're off the air. I'm going to put you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame because I'm going to make you known.
Much appreciated.
You're going to certainly be always put on a pedestal. And anytime, anything you got to say, you come here because this is the church of all wrestling matters. And you, my friend, are one of those people that is on the Mount Rushmore. You, my friend, is one of the people that has helped build this sport to the way it is. And the numbers speak for itself. What your body has done certainly speaks for itself. And I'm going to make sure that you will be protected in that legacy. And I will do everything I humanly can in my power to honor your legacy. Before I get to close, I know you're a busy man. You got family. Is there anything else that you'd want to say to anybody out there, whether it's fans, supporters, whoever it might be? Anything you want to say to anybody before I get to closing thoughts?
Just listen when you're at any show that you join, because there are people out there that want to help you, and there are people out there that just want to help themselves. And you really need to listen, because I can tell you a number of times where I'm watching guys like Austin. Yes, he can train guys, I guess, but he's never been trained. Nothing to take away from him. He's proven time and time again that he's a great showman and stuff, but he's never been trained. And I'm sitting on the sideline. Hey, let me show him this. Let me show him that. Let me show him this. No. Austin shows him. No, not you. Just because of ego. You have to pay attention to those things, because there is a guy there that just wants to help someone else be, if not as good, better than that individual. And that's me. I wanted to always just make someone better than me, so that I could leave
back in the world. You're supposed to take that and let somebody be better. This is not about
exactly right.
To me, you're always supposed to give it back. I mean, certainly I try every day on this platform, whether it's, somebody needs help with something, whether it's whatever it might be. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to give people. Look, I'm no joke. I'm a reverend, actually. And actually, that's part of my duties. One of the, in real life, I actually hold a position in New York City. I am a minor office holder. And every day I go, I have helped people I've helped people save their homes. I've helped people in terms of, getting their mortgage, getting COVID, whatever it was. I helped people. I have the facts to back up. That's my position. That's been my job. And I believe in anything in life, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to help people in any way possible. But I can rest assured you're going to certainly get to do that in an even bigger platform, on a bigger scale. I can't thank you enough for all. I know you're a busy man. You got I want to give you I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything you want to plug, share, or say, I absolutely can't thank you enough.
And thank you guys for having me, and for all the love. I really, I cannot even. It just makes everything worth it to hear all that kind of stuff. How great, how much you guys appreciate me and my work and stuff. It makes everything, all the pain, everything worth it. But I do want to say, any promoters on this show, anybody that's running a show and is hiring new guys and letting them try their thing and showcasing their stuff, don't let your ego cloud it. Don't let your ego ruin it. Don't let your ego destroy the relationship you have with someone you don't even know yet. Build a relationship and enjoy them and use them. See what they want. Try, and you got to test the grounds and see what they are, because some guys, maybe they do deserve it. And there's other guys that get it all the time and they don't at all. They just need a little bit of a chance. Something I always went over in these last few matches ever since 2020 here, since season 4, was that I want to work with new guys, but that's not so I can look good. I wanted to work with new guys so that I could do something monumental in their match that they hadn't done before, so they always remember, I did that my first time with Osiris. And just like with young Rolo, we had him here live today. In the match that I had with him in season 4, teacher versus student, for the #1 contendership for the Anarchy Championship that was held by Nick Violence at the time. I told him, what is it that you haven't done that you want to do? He wanted to do something off the rope, so we went with his finisher, that one where he flips over the flipping neck breaker. And he wanted to do that, and we did it off the rope. So it was something different. It was something new. He didn't like jumping too much, and we did. And I was also the guy that gave him his sliced bread finisher. So all those things, I know he's going to remember me for the rest of any time anybody mentions his wrestling tenure. Stuff like that. I just wanted people to remember what I did and what I helped them with, because that's, at the end of the day, that's the most important. I don't give a shit if you remember how many times I held the Anarchy Championship, 18 by the way.
I said in the intro, it was like too many to list. It was too many times you held that.
Yeah, and I don't care if you remember how many times I held it. I want you to remember the monumental moments I gave you, like when the network was it Osiris? No, Osiris isn't with the network, but then that episode, I zipped down the jacket and I got the network shirt on and I turn around and turn on everybody. I want people to remember that before they remember the 18th time I won the Anarchy Championship. I want people to remember when I went through to a war with Conductor and Last Man Standing in 2009. I went to an absolute war, and one of my favorite matches too, in the yard, and I lost the match. But it wasn't the loss; it's the war that I went through to get to that loss. Why I lost? How much did you
about that tonight, the beginning of the show, the story, talking about building to that moment, talking about something to remember for people. I mean, that's what I take away from this tonight.
That's what it's all about. I just want people to remember. I want people to remember everything I did to just entertain them. And I have comments all the time. Hey, I watched you my whole childhood. And thanks for making me feel old as shit. But also thank you for making me feel like a piece of gold. Like absolutely amazing to hear stuff like that. I was someone's nostalgic feeling somewhere in there when they see me again. I'm someone's childhood when they went through their teenage years and they just broke up with some girl and they're heartbroken. I'm gonna go put on ESW so I can watch someone get fucked up, and they're watching Osiris because Osiris don't take no shit from nobody. So stuff like that. I just wanted to always leave my mark and make sure that I'm remembered, because I appreciate every single person that has ever sent me a message, every single person that has ever shouted me out or told me they appreciated my work, left me a comment, left me some love somewhere, or visited my Twitch stream. Come check out the Twitch, twitch.com or twitch.tv/Osiris_.
Right in front of me, actually. So I'm going to actually plug that once again because I actually have it right here. So don't you worry about it.
I'm open to live questions on that. I'm all completely out of character, just like I am here. Character is something I hold different in interviews, yes, but that's what is in now, and that's what we do now, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm always open to it. I'm here to connect with you guys. I'm here to connect with the fans. Thank you so much for the years of support. Thank you for having me on this show.
And that's why you came, before we go, this is why I knew you would connect tonight more than Austin, because these people, you meant so much to them, and these are also peers of yours, peers that actually watched you and they went out and had their own success. And I knew that you would get it tonight. You would be far more well received because people here, they know you, they believed in you, but they also wanted to hear what you had to say. You gave them, and that's why this is going to be a place where I'm going to see you a lot more. You're going to be honored here. I can't wait to put you in the Hall of Fame. I can't wait to support you in any way I can. I guarantee there's a lot of guys here that, listen, they're so happy you're here because you took the time to be here on this platform, which in many ways you helped build. Guys like you and Delta built this platform because of your blood, sweat, and tears. What you did out there to go out there and make this a community. You had a hand in it. And that's why guys tonight celebrate. Yes, we talked about some things, but this was mostly celebration. And I want to put that out there. 80% of what this platform does is celebrating our stars, celebrating guys like you, blood, sweat, and tears out there. Guys like you have gone out there and done it with true love. And that's why tonight is just the beginning. We're only getting started with you. Listen, Mr. Hardcore said it earlier in the evening. At the end of the day, wrestling is a small part of it. You got so much more to give for this sport, and I can't wait to see what you do. Support this man on Twitch. Support this man on Instagram. It's the actual same hashtag, same @ support it. Let me get to a few more comments before we go. Also, great advice. No matter how experienced or the knowledge of anyone, you can always learn more and teach others as well. Being humble is the best trait everyone looking for. Soldier saying, hopefully one more match. Who knows? I don't know. I think he's pretty much made it clear, but maybe he'll be involved in Summer Bash. Young Rolo, thanks you so much for everything. I know you got to run. I can't thank you enough so much for all of your support, everything you've done. And I know this is just the beginning of you here. Anything you want, anything you need, I'm here 24/7 at your disposal. This community's here for you 24/7. And I just want to say thank you for all that you've done. And I can assure you that a rising tide will always lift all boats. You are that rising tide, and we're going to lift your boats. Let your heart not be troubled about what happened in one place. In this place, it's always going to be nonstop celebration of your career and everything else in between. You are welcome anytime. I can't wait to put you in the Hall of Fame. These guys are so happy to see you. I'm sure they're all going to be lighting up your DMs shortly. Thank you so much for all that you've done. And I can't wait to see you next month. And just, again, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate all the love and support. I look forward to it, man. If you want me to come back for anything, I'm
You're
always
here.
open.
I'm going to make sure it's happening. I know you're a busy man with family, but definitely in the next couple of weeks, I want to put you in the Hall of Fame. But that
Yeah.
was none other than the legendary Osiris himself, the ESW Interstate Champion of the World 2 times. He was a former World Champion, Anarchy Champion. I lost count on how many times. He is one of the men, the heart and soul of ESW Shockwave, a man that built that company to what it is today, over 40-something thousand subscribers between the two platforms, millions upon millions of views, and he is starting the next chapter of a long, long career in this world. He is one of the people that is definitely about all wrestling matters. He is one of those guys definitely on the Mount Rushmore. Next time you'll see him here is in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally of all wrestling matters. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Also, one more time, I want to thank Jack Delter and Atomic Titan for giving me the opportunity to speak with Osiris. I will be here tomorrow, 11 o'clock Eastern time with Brogan O'Shea of XCW, getting us ready for Extreme King. So definitely looking forward to that. But until then, if you're on the Promo Wrestling Federation YouTube page, thank you for tuning in. Also, Pride Wrestling Federation YouTube page. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global ration that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And if you have not yet, hit that sub button for us on YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579, 1,000 subscribers. I get that tattoo. I'm getting closer and closer. So make it happen. You've built this platform. Help me get there. You'll build a tattoo for me. But thank you, Osiris. I'll see everybody tomorrow. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling.